To the next item is Sail Pensacola and Foiling Events Ltd. Funding request. We have a couple of speakers. Luca Rosati, is that how you pronounce?
Yes, correct.
Thank you. And Dr. Tim Reichon.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Tim Reichon, 2 Portofino Drive, Pensacola Beach, Florida. I'm the president of Sail Pensacola. Thank you, Mr. Chairman and the board, for listening to a little bit about Sail Pensacola and specifically about this project. As you know, we in Pensacola enjoy this incredible set of natural assets. We have wind, we have sun, we have water. Discovered by sailors, settled by sailors. You might say sailing is in the DNA of Pensacola. This was magnified when these guys discovered us. They came to town and discovered these assets and said, this is incredible. We want to move here. We want to pull up stakes from Rhode Island and come down and make our home at the Pensacola Bay. So here they come, and then we look at this development and we say, well, we have these natural assets. Now we have American Magic coming into our community, injecting $8 million a year of their money to put 350 family members on the ground in the community. Thank you, TDC, for putting some money into that equation. And what has happened now is American Magic has given an international stamp of approval on this Pensacola Bay as a sailing venue. Sail Pensacola was organized to leverage that development and that convergence of assets. We were organized with this vision that we want to make Pensacola the North American center of high-performance sailing events, boat engineering, sail engineering, and technology development related to high-performance sailing. Now, our mission is more specific because we promote high-performance sailing, yes we do, but we also support recreational sailing, local competitive sailing, sailing technology, and very importantly, the economic development related to sailing on the Pensacola Bay. So we were organized as an orchestrator of the Pensacola Bay sailing ecosystem. We don't have a storefront, we don't have a product. We are here to execute on this opportunity to take these natural sailing assets, to take the American Magic stamp of approval, plus their injection of capital in this community, plus the TDC investment in bringing them here, and now we have Pensacola on the sale of that boat in Barcelona, getting that international stamp of approval. Now we exist and team up with the city, the county, Florida West, Pensacola Sports, PYC, UWF, PSC, and additional funding to create the high-performance sailing center of North America. We incorporated in February, Sail Pensacola incorporated in February as a 501c3 public charity to do this orchestration job. When looking at what American Magic brings to the community, though, and what the opportunity really is, it boils down to this. What's under that boat that allows it to get out of the water and fly at 60 miles an hour. That is what has redefined the America's Cup and other sailing competitions. And now we see those hydrofoils appearing on all sorts of watercraft. Let's start with racing watercraft. We've got it under wing surfers. We've got it under twin foil birdie fish models. We've got it under the Wasp class sailboat. We've got foils under the B-foil from France. We've got it under the Easy to Fly catamaran. And yes, there it is. It's under America and Magic, the 2 AC-40s that American Magic brought to Pensacola Bay to train. It's not only there, it's under these water toys. We have it under these powered surfboards. We have it under these stand-up surfboards. There's a hydrofoiling bicycle. We have it under the recreational boats now, and of course, here it comes. It's going to be under the water taxis. It's going to be under the water ferries. And why? Because it dramatically improves the efficiency of the boat moving through the water, meaning it takes less power, which means alternative propulsion systems like electric battery packs can provide the range of operations that make it feasible. Now, foils. It's all about foiling and foils. When I set out to start to execute the work plan for Sail Pensacola and look at the kinds of projects we could do to reach our goals of making sailors, making jobs, and making races, it came back to this concept of foils, and I wanted to use American Magic as a team and their boat to create a sailing festival here in Pensacola to magnify the technology and the team, as well as draw attention of the world to Pensacola, because we want to attract the companies in Europe that are making these hydrofoils to come to Pensacola to build these boats and these hydrofoils to create jobs. So an event that would have appeal to the industry, an event that would bring sailboat racers, an event that would be good for public consumption and draw people to Pensacola to see what this technology, that's what I had in mind. In the beginning, I thought, well, the market for this is, well, hey, we have American Magic. After all, we have the only U.S. boat in contention for the America's Cup in the United States of America. Well, let's say the market for the Pensacola Sailing Week is going to be the United States of America. So I began to try to figure out how to do this, and I looked on the internet to see if anybody else was doing a foiling week in the world. And I'll be darned if I didn't find that there's a thing called Foiling Week at Lake Garda. It's been happening for 10 years. It did all of the things that I imagined I would want to do here. It had on-water demos, it had a film festival, it had national, continental, and world championship racing, and it had the industry eyes there in a trade show talking about advancing this technology from not just water toys, but all the way up through industrial applications. Wow, that was exactly what I was looking for. So I look up the guy that's behind this. His name is Luca Rosati, and the only handle I can find for him is on Instagram. Well, I really didn't think this was going to work, but I did a direct message on Instagram, and he answered. And he said, interesting idea. Let's talk about it. Well, we've talked about it, and his ideas and his vision and his appreciation for where this project could go far exceeded what I started out with. I was thinking of calling it Pensafoil. Now, Luca comes onto the scene and says, you know, we are ready to expand off the European continent. How about we just expand into the North American space with Foiling Week? Wow. So I've had Luca and his commercial director out here several times. We've looked at the lay of the land. We've even gone so far as to pick a shoulder season date for this event of November 4th through 10th of 2024. We've even reserved the Sanders Beach Community Center for the HQ. The way it would roll out is we'd launch boats at the Grotto and at PYC. The headquarters would be at Sanders Beach Community Center. The race course would be laid out with the turning mark in front of the Wahoo Stadium seawall, so that all of these foiling boats on every lap would come screaming up to the buoy and turn 180 degrees right in front of the crowd and head off at 30 miles an hour. We would have a consumer show where you can buy all of your soft goods and sail bags and your latest Helly Hansen branded gear, and we would have a film festival. Well, I brought Luca here to tell you about how this would be done. He's going to present the numbers for how this would be reeled out and what it will do for heads and beds in this community. This event, a 7-day event, will create an appreciable continental interest from North America and South America, because the only other venue for this is Lake Garda in Italy. So we have no competition in this sphere. I want to introduce Luca Rosati, and I'm going to start up his slide presentation here.
Thank you. Luca, if you would just introduce yourself to the microphone. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Chairman Bear, and thank you, members of the council. My name is Luca Rizzotti. I am the founder of Foiling Week. I also have other roles, let's say, in the foiling world. I am, excuse me, I am the founder of the industry organization that, let's say, look after the foiling industry and the professionals. It's a global organization. I am vice president of the Mod class, which is the little boats that are sailing there near American Magic. And I am also class manager for the AC-40, which is the boat that American Magic is sailing over there. Foiling Week is a world sailing special event. Let me quickly introduce you to what that means. World Sailing is the global federations of sailing. So it's the sport international body that basically oversees everything about sailing, including, of course, the Olympics. They have a special event classification, which includes basically the 8 most important events of the sailing calendar. These events include, of course, the America's Cup, which, of course, you all know, includes the Ocean Race, SailGP, and includes also Foiling Week. If you want to draw a comparison, for example, in tennis, it would be equal to having the US Open, Wimbledon, Roland Garros. So we are in this category of 8, one of the 8 most important events in sailing in the world. What is very specific of this event, though, it's the majority of the sailing events are not famous for, let's say, inclusivity. They normally push more for exclusivity. One of the reasons why World Sailing gave us this World Sailing Special Event status was exactly that we were a community-based event. It's an event open to the public. And we made it specifically for widening the number of people that could come and enjoy foiling. Making it possible for people to experience it. So it's not only a racing event, we have multiple classes. In Lake Garda last year, we celebrated our 10th anniversary. We had over 600 entries, divided in 9 classes, racing at the same time on 4 different courses in the area. But it's also made of trials, so the public can come and try boats. And we do that with professional coaches assisted by boats, so with complete safety. We do conferences, so it is possible to understand what the state of the art of this industry and this niche of sailing is about. And it's not trimmed just for the very expert. It's something that is made for the public to understand. And we also have a more general exhibition where people can see the boats, touch the boats, and possibly try. Not only boats, but we also have boards, we have toys. You've seen from team presentations that foiling is made by many different elements, not only sailing boats. And the Foiling Week is not dedicated only to sailing. We have also boards like kite and wing, they are sailing, but we also have toys like the electric foil boards. We have motorboats to show, foiling motorboats to show how foiling is impacting the marine industry in general. Our plan, one thing that is very interesting for me when I came here, of course, is first of all, the perfect conditions. Pensacola has basically a triangular 4 or 5 miles on each side, enclosed bay. Foiling loves flat water, and that's the very reason why American Magic picked this specific spot. It has a good wind condition, not too strong, not too small, perfect for foiling. And it's unknown to the rest of the world, and that's an interesting challenge for us. When I first heard about it, which it was honestly only because American Magic put the base here, and then I looked on the map, and I saw where it was. And when I came here, I realized the reason for it. It is clear that this has the potential to become a very important sailing location. And we can certainly be part of this process, helping classes and sailing to come in this place. Why sailing is important also for Pensacola on the other side? Because events like these, especially where they are made by multiple classes, showcase the landscape and the sea and whatever you have here in the best possible way. There are cameras and videos and recording happening from every side, from land, from sea, from drones, and it is possible to see. And of course, we don't see in our videos only the sailing boats or the boards, but we see the city, we see the shores, we see the public, we see the interaction. We made, we made a plan, and the plan is a 4-year plan, which starts next year, November 4 to 10, as we mentioned, soon after the America's Cup. So ideally, we will see American Magic coming back with a nice silverware cup. And the event will be made by foiling boats, boards, toys, motorboats, conferences, and exhibitions. What are we adding every year, and why this will work well in making this event bigger and bigger every year? The idea is, and that will work, of course, towards heads and beds, which is, of course, important, is to add every year a better layer of, let's say, sport trophy by making, well, first year will be, let's say, let's get together and try out this place. On the second year, we will add national championships for each classes. Then on the third year, we will add continental championships, and on the fourth year, we will have world championships. What this does is it's a sort of what we call a reverse funnel effect. Basically, what happens is that the people that is coming in 25 for the national championship, there will be more people coming because they will know that the year after there will be a continental championship. The people coming in the year of the continental championship will be more than they will normally come because they know that the year after there is a world championship. Because people, especially in sailing, they want to try and test the waters. The geography, the landscape, the type of winds, they are important for how the sport goes and the performance. So we see ourselves as a long-term project, and we want to base ourselves here because we believe that the location is perfect, and also the very other important thing, everybody we have been talking to so far has been super supportive of the idea. And of course, when you venture to a new places, you want the people, the public, the community to be behind you, because there are already, of course, some hurdles when you go and explore new places. We made some calculations that, of course, estimates on the number of people, sailors, coaches, people from our team, family and friends, local teams, public from the county, public from outside the county that will come to the event. Of course, we are starting small, so to speak. I mean, everything is relative. But we see that in a 4-year cycle, we will get around 15,000 people coming to the event, and that we will get around 44,000 nights in Pensacola. What is very important is also by, let's say, promotional point of view for Pensacola, this is an international event. The fact that we are a world sailing special events means that every event that we do is replicated on the world sailing channels. So their TV, their social medias, they produce monthly recap video, the most important events that are done. And of course, being a world sailing special event, we are always included in this type of media. We have made again, some assumptions on the costs and the returns for the community. I'm sorry that the numbers are not so, I mean, at least for me, not so easy to read from there. But let's say we have every year there is an increased investment in the event. For year one, we are asking for 200. We are thinking in, even though I'm Italian, we are thinking in Great British Pound because the company is British. 250,000 pounds, which is equal more or less to, like I just looked now at the exchange rate. We are looking at around $320,000 US dollars. While we have a direct economic impact of 1 million on year one, that becomes 1.7 million on year two, 3 million on year three, and then 5.6 million on year four. We believe that foiling is maturing in the US. It's attracting more and more interest. American Magic certainly being an important element of promotion. And we think with an event like this, we can attract lots of people to come to Pensacola as well. It is just the very last thing. It is we foresee doing not only racing during the days, which let's say the normal kind of racing, but we are working to do also, aside from the film festival, which can of course run in the morning or in the evening late for the people, but we also foresee doing some exhibitions of let's say foiling very close to the shore in various locations, let's say in Pensacola during the late afternoons and evenings, so that the general public from shore can see even more what foiling is about, calling of course champions of the sport. We believe that the American Magic guys will be back. Let's say most of the American Magic sailing team I know directly, Tom and Goody, they sail on mods, and if they're back, they will be back on the boats and they will be at Foiling Week 100%, as they've been multiple times on Lake Garda. I'm happy. Any question? Please let me know. I'm happy to answer, of course. And thank you for your time again.
Great. Thank you, Luca. Any questions?
You know, I like the idea of it. It's a pretty significant ask, but I think it's something that could complement the American Magic presence here, and I agree with everything that you said about the Bay, because the American Magic team has said the same thing, and they've decided to come here. But what other funding sources would you need? I mean, that's in addition to the $300,000, and how would you fund it going forward?
I think there is a good room for sponsorship, and whether it's local, but also, let's say, local as in Pensacola City, Escambia County, but then also Florida State and the US. We already have some American partners for our events in Lake Garda. The majority of the sponsors that we have in Lake Garda, they are happy to come also to the US. So I think by exploiting that, we can raise some further budgets. And then it will depend also on the number of, let's say, extra events within the event that we can organize here. The film festival is one. It can attract its own sponsorship. With the trials and with like one-to-one special sessions, like let's say that you can have a dinner with Tom Slingsby and Paul Goodison. That's an extra thing. I mean, there's many ways to involve not only the public, but of course also corporations with hospitality, VIP hospitality. We can bring them on board. There's many vessels here in Pensacola that do, let's say, cruises that can take the public out there. We can add commentary to that. We will have a TV production, of course, and videos of the events. And we have a plan to broadcast the video production to, let's say, there's a sport broadcasting agency that has 840 million people within their broadcasting capacity. Then, of course, it's a matter how many minutes they will put out there, and we are not talking hours, but we will certainly have several minutes of video that will be broadcasted, for example, on TV screens on on airplanes, whether it's on CBS or other TVs internationally.